Hi, this is Raven. This video is part 5 of the helicopter training series, and it's going to focus on how to create a route planner. And that's going to be very useful for those of you who want to be a milsim pilot. So we'll just crack on. Here I'm in Altus and I've chucked down a Tigris, and I have a patrol here and a sentry here just to make it look a little bit more realistic, but there would probably be a lot more going on. But for now and demo purposes, we've just got Tigris here. The reason I've used the Tigris, as a helicopter pilot, this is probably worst case scenario that you could come up against. So for you guys that want to practice, just use a Tigris. So if you can evade a Tigris, you can evade anything. And as far as planning goes, so if I just go to the map, and I've got a helicopter and a pilot here, and it's at the terminal. Most milsims who use the Altus map use the terminal as their HQ, and then I've put these dots down leading up to the AO. And so firstly, these dots are only for sort of training purposes, so by all means use this method the first few times that you want to practice, but I wouldn't put this down on the map on the milsim unit, because people will get the hump, and there's going to be a lot going on the map. But what you should be allowed to put down are the LZ, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, however many you want. So landing zones, you should be able to put them down yourself. That should be the responsibility of the pilot, or the lead pilot. And if you're in a really good milsim, what they'll do, or what they should do, is send certain forces to these areas. So either a whole squad to secure the landing zone, or they'll send a scouting party to just make sure there's nothing going on at the landing zone. Okay, so that's the part that you control, or should control, is the landing zones. Now, how to plot landing zones, you need to know where the AO is, which the leaders should have already plotted. Now for you, I've put down this outer circle, and the outer circle is 4 kilometers radius. Now the reason that's important is if you were to fly from the terminal straight as the crow would fly to the AO, and you flew at an altitude that would clear all the peaks, i.e. you'd be in the open air. If you reach this outer limit, the Tigris would pick you up on its radar and you'd be dead within seconds. So that's why we plot routes, so that we can get our guys as close as we can to the AO. So as you can see here, I've drawn a line from the center of the AO out past landing zone Alpha. The reason I've done this, so I'll just show you now, these lines on the map are called contours. The closer together the contours are, the steeper the gradient of the terrain. So from that you can easily depict hills and valleys, and as the pilot you want to remain in the valleys to sort of give yourself cover by the hills. So 199, 174, 108, these are all peaks. Okay, obviously the higher the number, the higher the peak. And this line here, as you can see, it comes on the edge of the peak, and down here on the bottom of the peak. So as you can see that the contours are starting to get wider here, which means the terrain is starting to flatten. Okay, so if we were to come through this valley here, I know, or I'm pretty certain, that as long as I remain this side of the red line, I won't be seen by the tigress. If I pass that red line, I'm moving into flatter land and I've no longer got the protection of these peaks, so it's more likely to see me. So based on that, I'm going to put landing zone alpha as close as I can, again assessing the ground because that's your responsibility. So assess the ground. If you sort of zoom in, you can see this area here hasn't got many contours, so I know it's fairly flat. And they've got 2 buildings here, so the guys can get out and they've got a bit of protection. Okay, so, and that's inside the small zone, so as close as we can to the AO. But I've got LZ Bravo, or landing zone Bravo, and that's just outside the danger zone. So if we come round and get to landing zone Bravo, and we see that that's hot because there's a couple of guys there, a patrol or whatever, then we can drop here, or we can turn around and come back. Now this is why I've got this crossroads here. So as we come through the valley and we get wind of sort of enemy in this area, we can change and go round to landing zone Charlie. So it's always best to have a couple of backups. And obviously you want to get the guys as close to the AO as possible, and I'm sure they'll moan that they've got to walk further, but I can assure you they'll moan a lot more if you get them killed. So just bear that in mind. And that's it. So you can see here that I've used these dots to take all the valleys into that area. So always keeping hills between you and the AO. And the more you do this and try it on different maps and stuff like that, the quicker you'll be able to sort of do this without putting dots down. You'll just know where to go and you'll know how to improvise if there's trouble in the way. So I'll just quickly go through it and show you what I mean. Jump in the helicopter. Control and M brings up your sat nav. So if you're doing this yourself, just having a little practice, make sure you stick a sat nav, a GPS, sorry, sat nav. Make sure you stick a GPS on your guy. And the other thing we want to do, I just want to stick a marker point in the centre, so I know how far away it is. So there we go, it's 9.5 kilometres away. And as far as milsims go, I would try and exit the helicopter zones and the airport in general properly. So that's using the runways. It's obviously professional, but from a logical point of view, if you've got multiple helicopters incoming and outgoing, then you're not going to do something stupid like smash into each other, which is a bit embarrassing. So as you can see, we're leaving the runway now and I can see my green dots. So I'm going to follow the green dots. It doesn't matter if you sort of follow them roughly, you don't have to sort of be on top of them, it's just to give you a guide, just to roughly what direction to go. And as I'm flying, you can see that I'm maintaining a good height. So my altitude is well above the tree lines, the telegraph poles, buildings, stuff like that. It's not too high. So there's no need to cut the grass. There's no need to weave in and out of trees. But, you know, 200 mile an hour, you might be able to do that. But I can assure you, if you start doing that as a milsim pilot with guys on board, they'll get very nervous and you'll very quickly be kicked off being a pilot. Because you might be able to do it, you might be able to, you know, fly cutting the grass 100 times, but it only takes that one time to crash and kill them all, and I can assure you they'll never forget it. And then you'll just always be known as the trash pilot, which no one wants. So you can see I'm staying just above these small peaks, because I know to my right I've got those big tall peaks there, and it's not going to see me this side of it. You see I'm going to have to crest this this small peak in front of me, but I know that that's going to be okay because I'm still going to remain below the large peaks to my right. Okay, so I can see the valley now. So this valley here, see the road going through it. So we know we're nearly there, and I can see on my GPS that the crossroads coming up. So I reckon to the left there is where we would have gone for landing zone Charlie. I'm going to go down to landing zone Bravo. I'm going to scrub the speed up a bit, because we're coming into, I can just see the red zone, the darker red zone coming up, and the line more importantly. So landing zone Bravo is down here on the grass, which is not a bad one. It's quite a good spot. So where is it? It's about here. So yeah, that's okay. It's quite flat. And that's what you want to do. Just keep doing this so you can test it all. And landing zone Alpha is on this road in between two buildings again. That looks okay. So we've done alright with picking our landing zones. We wouldn't have any trouble dropping down and taking off. And you can see I'm very close to that line now, and that's because it's this peak here, and you see it tapers off. So that's the danger line there. So if I was to go over that peak where it tapers off, very quickly that tigress is gonna pick up on me. So I'll just show you to see how far out I was with my line of danger. I'm now past that danger line. I think the tigress is over there somewhere. Oh, okay, there's a little bit of a peak there. Look. Yeah, there you go, I just saw a flash there. Yeah, there we go. I'm probably dead now. There you go. So just go to end. Okay, so that was pretty spot on with that line. So this is what I want you to do now, and give yourself a different. Don't sort of place the tigress. So give yourself one or two placed so that you can sort of work it out. But then what I would do, so we've got a tigress now. So, oh, I'll just put it in tig. There we go, tigress. So we'll just chuck one down. So I'll just chuck one there. And that's what I want you to do, is chuck a tigress down. Don't sort of try and place it, so because you're sort of cheating yourself. So I've chucked it down there. So now I need, if we go to markers, ellipse, and this is how you can sort of start your planning. So you don't even need to fly, but I would after you've set it all up. So I would do 4,000, and we're going to do red. Okay, grab that and stick it on the Tigris. Okay, so that's plan from here. So this is actually a pretty crappy area because, as you can see, it's very flat. So that Tigris is going to see us and kill us, and we've not got a lot of entry points. But we want to get the guys as close as we can. So what I would try and do is, from the terminal, I would take off and I'd fly out to sea. And the way I see it, there's two options. We can come in here and drop them off at the end of this peak, but that's one, two, three, four. It's about 3 clicks out, so they're gonna have a long old walk, which is not the end of the world, but we can get them a bit closer, I reckon. So if we flew out to sea up here, avoiding the radius, and then if we come in about here into Pefkas Bay behind these two peaks, and I reckon we could set them down probably about here. So I would set them down there behind that high peak. Okay, so I mean, if you were worried, you could probably set them down here. So this little area here, or here actually, that's a good one. See how flat it is with not a lot of, because here there's a lot of trees and bushes. So here's a good area. So let's just put a point down. So we said there. Let's just put that one down there for now. So that's a safe bet. And what we could do, because this is a little bit of a valley here, but it's not too wide, but there's a chance that it will see us as we fly past that valley. So I'd make that Bravo, and I would set them down here somewhere. No, not there. Set them down here. Is that a flat area? Probably, yeah, here. It gives us protection. So if we drew a line, that's quite protective. So we should be all right. Maybe further up. So maybe there. Let's have a look. So just draw an imaginary line. So there's a Tigris to go up. That's directly behind this peak. So we should be okay. The only problem I would see with that is this little valley here where that road goes through. But what you could do is just trial it. So I'd come in here, make sure that was safe, and then I would just trial it. I would go across to there, and just keep practicing stuff like that, and you'll get a feel for it. You'll get to feel what you can get away with and what you can't. Okay, and I think the troops would be pretty happy that you dropped off that close. So that's like what, 2 kilometers out, so they could easily fire a launcher from that hill and take it out. Yeah, so just keep doing that to chuck a Tigris down, give yourself a route, and then start planning it. And then once you've planned it and you know what you're going to do, trial it. All right. So the next video I'm going to do is just going to go over a couple of advanced moves that will help you, and then I'm going to release an actual training helicopter mission, but it will just be like a basic one, and then I might follow it up with an advanced one if you guys get on with it. All right. Okay, good luck.